Hi, I'm Carrie and welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing another deck comparison. I don't think I've done this for a while. I think it's been a while since I've either done a deck face-off or just comparing decks in my collection that are by a certain creator. And today we are focusing on three of Sandra Anne Taylor decks. All of her decks that, as far as I know, all of the decks I have of hers at least, or that I've seen put out, are put out by Hay House. So these are all mass market, easily available, and I usually pick up their decks when they run their big sales on their website. The reason I wanted to do this comparison is because I'm trying to find a way, or find a purpose, I should say, for these decks in my collection. This is the oldest. Then I think I got this one, and then I got this one in. And honestly, I rarely use them. These both have 53. This one only has 44. And here's the thing about me and Oracle decks. I prefer my Oracle decks to be free-flowing, meaning I don't want my Oracle decks to have a system. I want my Oracle deck to be whatever I want it or need it to be. I already have a system in place with tarot. If I want a system, that's the deck I'm going to go to. That's the deck I'm going to pull out and use in a system, within its system, I should say. I want my Oracle decks to be either a jumping off point or an accent or something. Now, that's not to say that I haven't done just a reading with oracles, because I most definitely do. But at the same time, I still want it to be free flowing. I want it to be whatever it is that I am needing or wanting in that moment. Even oracle decks that I have that are supposed to be for shadow work, or supposed to be for this, that, or the other, whatever the creator has labeled their deck to be, as long as it just has a keyword on it, I'm going to use it in a free-flowing style however I want to do it, because I want my decks to have multiple purposes in my collection, not just locked into one category. I'm going to explain what each of those are, and then we're going to flip through the cards and talk about them. So let's start with this one. It's a newer one and it has the least amount of cards. Her energy and spirit, I should say, oracle. It says that the cards hold messages from a wide range of spirit helpers, angels, ancestors, or ascended masters and guides, and reveal the vibrational patterns directing your destiny, offering a glimpse into the important universal influences as well as future possibilities. And that's pretty much what this deck is made of. There are the guides or the helpers, and then there are the energies. So this one so far has, I guess, been the most useful. And I don't necessarily pay attention to, let me see if I can, like it says elementals here. For shamanic healer, we have cleansing and attunement, where elementals, we just have nature spirits and the four elements. So that's where my issue is with these decks, is the keywords are going along and they're good, and then you have that card like that elemental that's thrown in, and then what do I do with it? How is that fitting in? Now, yeah, I can absolutely take in that energy of the elementals, whether if it's fairy or gnome or whatever, or fire, earth, air, water, trickster, whatever. I could bring that forward if I wanted to, but do I want to? I don't know. So then we have the Quantum Oracle, and this is a 53 card deck. Whoops, I have it upside down. So this reveals the alignment between present energy, universal influences, and future possibilities. These cards are not only predictive, but they also offer guidance about any situation you're focusing on during your reading. So this one has suits. The conscious energy and intention, which are three sets of suits here in this, are the universal laws and energetic patterns. They portray potential outcomes based on how your personal resonance reflects the law, each law. Then you have people, events, and spirit, 3 and more suits in here. And they refer to outside influences, experiences, or outcomes in your life. And then you have the cycles, which is the shortest suit. And this represents energetic cycles you may be experiencing within situations you're inquiring about. And for me, that limits this deck. If I'm going to start reading it in the suit formation or take into account, I guess, the suits and that. And it doesn't feel as free flowing as maybe the energy spirit oracle does. And then the energy oracle card, which is also 53. I never put my decks in the right way. It says these easy to use cards will help you understand what your consciousness is creating, as well as reveal any hidden blocks that may delay your progress. So she says here about these cards is the energy oracle cards are designed to indicate our present energy as well as future possibilities. Blah, blah, blah. They reveal energetic potential of things. For this reason, we can use these cards not only for predictive purposes, but also as tools for significant change within ourselves and our outer experience. And this deck doesn't have suits like this one does, or kind of like this one does with the team and the energy. However, what I noticed about this deck, because I just got in a Kipper deck. Well, that's not true. I got in a Kipper deck last year, didn't know how to work with it at all. So I just kind of put it away. So I just got in a Kipper book. I'll say that. And what I have noticed about this energy oracle is it's very similar to Kipper cards. And if I really sat down and read the meaning of every single of the 36 Kipper cards and read the meanings, I bet I could pull a card from this deck and match up to it. Especially since we have somewhere in here, we have man holding coin, woman holding coin, which would be rich man, rich girl in a Kipper. We have woman holding heart, man holding heart, and we have the thinking woman and the thinking man. And there are 3 sets of people cards in the Kipper. Now, I know they also have like the military person and that sort of thing, but I'll bet you there's energies in this deck that will resonate with the energy of those Kipper cards. And I'm really going to sit down and try to work through that and see what would fit what. And if I could make this into a Kipper deck. Now, this also has chakras. I have no use for these chakra cards in here that are attached to an angel. And then they have angel of balance, or angel cards, I should say, angel of love, angel of strength. So, I mean, I could see those. Those are okay. They don't bother me too much as like an overarching theme to something. So let's compare these here. I like the 3 keywords here on the bottom of energy and spirit because, like I said, when I was talking about the cards in general, I really lean into those in the imagery and pull that forward. Some of these are okay. This is like a picture that's on the box, this transformation. Then we have sensitivity and strength, tapping the forces within. And they're so different. They're all, I feel, similar yet different from each other. And maybe it's because, where this one is suits, this one is sort of like that. And this one goes its own way completely. The Ascended Masters here, like I said a moment ago, I don't really have any use for that. At least with the past life guides, I can ignore that altogether. I could probably bring in the energy of there's something coming up from your past, a karmic lesson, what is affecting, and maybe pull cards around this to see what is coming up from the past, whether a past life or just your past in general. So this one it doesn't bother me. But the Angel of Four Directions, I don't have a purpose for that without having to go to the guidebook to see what its insight is going to give me from that. I don't have any use for that card. So do I sit and pull out all the cards in this that I'm not caring for and then make it into a smaller deck? I definitely know I'm doing that with this one. I definitely know I'm pulling out the chakras. I don't know if I'm going to pull out the Angel of Balance in that. And I'm really going to pair it up with Kipper and see what I can discover. I don't mind the higher self card here because, I can see that as a message about tapping into your own inner voice, your own intuition. So then here's that elemental one that I talked about. But here we got the temple path. So what is this? Is this about diving into the sacred? Is this about diving into ritual? I guess I could see this however I want to see this. She has this as spiritual support, or that like sacred path. So I guess I was, on the right track with that. We have family, friends, and guides here for this one. I think this one would be cool to see, what comes out. Is it something where you just pull a card and then like maybe do a reading around it? Maybe I could adapt this oracle for that. Is there some sort of outside influence? Because, that was a spirit card. So what is spirit? Is that an outside influence? See, I can't remember that either. Yeah, spirit is an outside influence. People, events, and spirit. So these are outside influences that are affecting you in some way. And if you do have these three decks in your collection and you happen to love them, how are you using them? What are you doing with them? Are you using the Quantum Oracle in a suit aspect of any way? Like I said, I don't mind Shamanic Healer. I think that's an easy one to bring forward that energy. Same thing here with prophets and seers, decisions, predictive guidance. There's a lot of cards also here in the Quantum Oracle that are easy also that you could just use as a regular oracle in some way. And now even with the Archangel cards, at least there are the three keywords that are attached to that Archangel where I could ignore the Archangel energy altogether and just go off the keywords from this. So that's why this one has kind of been more useful for me recently. I like that she says in her guidebook about if you want to use it for predictive readings, you can. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. I really like that. That she doesn't shy away from, talking about using the oracle in a predictive way. Also, now see here we have the loving man. That's kind of kipperish also. I like this card for balance, centered energy, or self-care. I do notice that she puts some sort of deceit. I think there's been something like that in all of her oracles that I've seen so far. I do have her past life oracle, which I really like, and I've kind of used that almost as a regular oracle too. Now, this is a good card, I think, for people, professional assistants. Look outside. You need some additional help here in some way. So I kind of like that card added in. And then here's this one, this animal totems, animal energy and powers. How is that going to fit for me in a reading? Unless I want to pull that kind of thing forward. And when I'm just doing a guidance for someone, this may throw the whole reading off. Here's the loving woman. I like this heartfelt gratitude. I like the images on her deck. I don't know if they're AI. I have no idea. This one is really old. So I don't know. I don't know if they are or not. I can't even answer that. You would have to research that information on your own. And I do like the keywords that she puts on the majority of her cards. And then, like I said, you have that spirit animal or elemental or whatever thrown in. And if that's not something that I'm working with, I want to see what this says. What does she say for this? Animal energy and powers. If you see it repeatedly or you feel a strong resonance with it, animal totems bring spirit messages. And then she talks about the animals on the card and what they represent. Like the owl shares wisdom and clairvoyance, the deer is medicine, etc. Okay, well, I'm not going to remember that I could see the owl and wisdom in that, but so it's those cards like that that kind of frustrate me, especially when so many of the other cards are, I think, really good. So I think how her decks are going to work for me personally is I need to make them into the deck that I want them to be. And I need to pull out the cards that I don't resonate with, which I've done before. I have pulled cards out of oracles before that I just don't connect or resonate with and just leave them in the box. And I don't use them in any of the readings. And I kind of feel like that's what I'm going to have to do with her decks. And I think maybe that will help me use them or utilize them in some way, I should say. So we have ascended masters here, devoted spirits with specific intentions. Okay. And another thing I'm going to say about these type of cards in oracle decks that lean like this, not every client I have, especially because these are the cards that I kind of use for client readings more than for myself. So if I was reading this and using this for my own personal use, I have no issue with this type of card. But if I'm using this to read for another person, this may not fit into their belief system at all. Ascended masters, spirit guide, angel energy may not fit for them in any way. And yes, I can take that and intuitively feel maybe something else with that card. But who's to say that that type of card isn't maybe a trigger or whatever for that client or that person? And that's where this deck now becomes a limited use deck for me because of those types of cards being thrown in here, like elemental. They may not believe in elemental energy or feel any type of way or connection with it. So for that to come out in a reading that is flowing really well, even if I bring my own intuitive spin to it, it may throw that reading off for the client. That's just my own personal viewpoints on that. So, because I know everybody reads differently, but there's so many good cards in this quantum oracle. I guess I could move it more to the middle now since the other one is done. And I think, like I said a moment ago, that that's what I am going to do is I am going to really go through these cards, pull out the ones that don't resonate, that I don't feel would bring anything extra to a reading because there may be something else similar already in the deck. And I'm going to see how many cards I end up left with. Whoops. What did I do here? Okay. Just in case you're interested. I think I would definitely keep these ones right here. These are all general. This is a no. Healing light is a maybe. Sacred temples, a maybe. Yes to this. Milestone. I could see all of this working very well. Teacher, I could see that one. Professional, family. There's a lot of people cards here. Optimism, I could definitely see that. Hidden motivations. Fragmented and okay, so I would definitely pull out Ascended Masters, Angels of Four Directions. Healing Light, I would keep it in and test it out to see how it works. Sacred Temple. Okay, so she says the Sacred Temple is your hall of records. You're at a point in your life and in your personal power where you are able to open this holy vault and connect to the unlimited information contained therein. Okay, I have clients that wouldn't believe in that also. This card unveils your ultimate place of personal power and inspiration. Okay, see, that I could get on board with. So that I would definitely leave in there. And what do we have here for the vast universe? Opportunity awaits. Amazing connections are available. The eternal consciousness. Oh, this is about kind of co-creating with the universe. So I would keep that into. So out of the Quantum Oracle, there are only 2 cards that I might pull out. The Ascended Master card is Jesus, Buddha, I can't remember who else. And the Angels of the Four Direction are Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, and Raphael. So if I have clients that believe in that, yes, I could bring these in. I could bring that energy forward. But if I don't, these are 2 cards that could be easily removed from the Quantum Oracle. And then I could just use this. I would probably use her Quantum Oracle as like a jumping off point for the reading, and then I would do the rest with tarot. So I would bring forward maybe victim mentality comes out, and I would do the reading surrounding that and seeing, why you're sitting in this victim mentality, what you need to do to get out of it, etc. So I think that's probably how I would use this one. The energy spirit, if I was going to pull any cards out, it would be definitely the elemental card. Definitely the animal totem. I would leave the ancestor card in because you could really bring forward that legacy aspect. You could bring forward past hurts, that have been passed down the line, behavior patterns that have been passed down the line, kind of with this. I would even leave in, I think, because this is power, truth, and connection. I could really see this chakra, Angels of the 7 chakras, as realigning with your body. So I would definitely leave that one in. I'm not going to pay attention to the archangels up there. I would just bring forward what this is down here. I would probably take out that one and this one. I might leave in spirit mentors and teachers because this could be someone coming forward for that purpose. Okay. So depending on the client, I would definitely remove elemental animal totems. Probably this personal guide and spirit family. I'm going to take that out. And I would take out devoted spirits with specific intentions. So this is a 44 card deck. So I would only be removing 4 cards. That leaves me still 40 cards here for this Oracle deck, which I think is a good number to work with. So I am going to set these other cards here in the bottom of this box this way with the book in between, and I'm going to work with this deck with just those 40 cards, and then I'm going to see how it works for me and see if it is one that I end up pulling more. And then for the Energy Oracle one, I'm not going to do that one here on camera because I really do want to sit down with my Kipper deck and look, or Kipper book, I should say, and look at the meanings and see what fits for that. I know I'm going to pull out these chakra cards 100%. I'm going to take all those out. I'm definitely leaving these people cards in. And then I've got these angel and like the one goddess and the magician in the mirror. So I would have to see, because this is a 53 card deck. So I've already pulled out 7 here with the chakra energy, which takes us down to 46 cards. And a Kipper deck is 36 cards. And while I'm not trying to make this an exact Kipper deck, I just want to see how many fit. And then what I'm left with. Maybe I'll do that off camera and then come back. Okay, so I'm back. I sat with the cards and the book and went through the Energy Oracle here and tried to find cards that fit the energy of maybe what some of the Kipper cards were. And I couldn't find exact matches for all of them, but there were some in here I felt were pretty close. So no, you could not. From what I said earlier, I want to come back and clarify that. You definitely could not make this into like a Kipper deck without a very big stretch of your imagination. But I just was thinking through things, I should say, when I was talking about the cards, because I saw these similarities in some of these cards and what I know from Kipper. So I am going to clarify that no, you cannot make this into a Kipper deck like I was hoping you could do. However, what I did find is by sitting here and really looking at and thinking about the energy of this, comparing it to the Kipper book and everything, I really like the cards that I have here. I still have all 7 of the chakras pulled out. So I think I'm going to use this as a strictly 46 card deck. Is that right? Yeah. And see what I get with this energy or with these cards and what comes forward in that. I will play around with this and probably use it over on my reading channel. So if you're not subscribed to that, there is a link in the description box below. But yeah, I think I'm going to play around with it over there and see what my intuition brings forward and how I can use this deck. So this is the Energy Oracle here, and these chakra cards are going in the bottom, and then these are the only cards I will be using from this deck. And even though, like I said, this can't be used as a Kipper, I don't think there was anything wrong with talking about, like the possibility of that and then discovering on my own whether that was going to work or not. I think Oracle decks can be used and molded into what we need for whatever type of reading that we're doing by adding cards to, by mixing decks together or eliminating cards or whatever it is that you choose to do. Let me know, do you have her decks? Do you use her decks? How do you use these decks? I would love to hear in the comments below. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you being here. Don't forget to do all the YouTube things, like and all that other stuff. And until I see you next time, bye.